Happy Motivation Monday, everyone. Happy Motivation Monday. Um, this is a special one for me because tomorrow's my birthday. Tomorrow's my birthday, and um, besides the fact, like I'm really excited, but I just wanted to share with everyone what my topic was taking the chance with change. So, with my birthday coming tomorrow, normally about a week or so before my birthday, I just kind of do a year in review. So I've been doing that. So I've been a little quiet on social media because it really has been super reflective. And even with COVID, 2020 was real good to me. Was real good to me. Hey, Jen. Um, and I received like a lot of clarity. I knew going into 2020 that, well, I call my evolution. So my evolution time really begins around my birthday. So I knew that the year 2020 was a year for me to uplift and a year for me to support people. So 2020 wasn't a year primarily about me. Um, but uh, but I guess since I've done so good with what the task God gave me last year, that He gave me an even greater task for 2021 with my evolution year, and it is the year of me. So my motivating thing for last week is I finished last Wednesday. I finished a 10-day prayer of Jabez challenge. And it was good, you guys. When I tell you it was good, it was so good. Um, Prayer works. Like I've always been a believer of prayer, but prayer works. And I think it was like last Tuesday. I'm doing this prayer talking about. Um, I'm doing this prayer talking about expand my territory, give me an area of greater responsibility and of influence. And I just started getting kind of inundated at work. Hey, Nancy, can you work on this? Hey, Nancy, I know I asked you last year to help me with this, but I got some more. And had to take a breath. I was like, put that sticky for the next day because it was a lot that day. But God indeed is giving me all that I asked for and more. So, the subject matter, well, what I want to speak on today is taking the chance for change. And I know that this year I am to pivot. Like I'm mid pivot right now talking to you all. Um, because it's a new season. And God lets me be aware of the season that I'm in, and I know that I'm in a new season, and that season requires change. So I wrote down some things just to be, as you're pivoting or as you're changing, just like little touch points. So number one, in change, you have to be very clear and have hella clarity on your change. Like why the change? When? Because sometimes it's like right now. Like don't pass go, don't go to jail, don't collect $200. Change right now. Um, who will it affect? And what? Like, what does your change entail? So for me, being a giver, I'm a giver by nature. I really love to serve people. I really like to make people happy. I really want to help people. Um, and I'll do that all under the umbrella of Coach in the City. But personally, um, that's I'm not doing that. Um, this year, it's for me, and I know that my change will affect a lot of people, and um, so I know who it's going to affect. I already have a system in place, and I know that sounds very formal, but we have to have system in place to address all of these things. Why? Because everybody don't like change. Rarely do people like change. They like change like if it's going to benefit them. You could go from being like a 100,000aire to a millionaire. That's a good change. People are cool with that. But when change go in the opposite direction, or maybe not in their perceived best interest, people may have an issue with change. So, but I'm aware that I'm very clear in my pivot and in my change for this next year is going to affect more than just me. Heck, I'm a married woman. It's going to affect my husband. It's going to, I got kids in the house. It's going to affect my kids. Um, so which moves me down to my next step of I have to communicate. And I know as adults we feel, no, I don't owe anybody an explanation. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm doing it, right? Well, that is true. But I do believe in common courtesy, decency, respect, and letting people know your why. Because even though it's our life, sometimes you do want, I know I do want support. For example, I could easily tell my kids, hey, Mondays from 8 to 9 o'clock, don't bother me. I'm doing something important. Or I could say, hey, you guys, y'all know every Monday, I'm doing my motivation Monday. Um, can you please keep the noise down? Can y'all not disturb me while I'm doing this live, because it's important to me, because it's important to my company, it's important to my brand, and it's so when you explain to people your why, sometimes that can lighten the load. And then when they understand it, sometimes you do get more supporters, because although I know there's a lot of people say I'm a one-man shop, I'm a one-man company, I'm a hype man, I run the back office, I run the front office. Sometimes you really do want people's support, especially if they mean something to you. So I have to communicate. So communicate, let people know why the change. And some people will eventually get the message. So you know, everybody don't get the phone call or the notification that, this is my change. A few years ago, I speak a lot of how I stopped taking telephone calls after 9 o'clock. Some people know, I think like my mom, maybe my family. My family know, Jen knows, like my best friend knows. But other people, they'll find out the next time we talk. And normally they say, well, I called you. And then that's when I insert my, hey, I started a month ago, 6 months ago, that I no longer take calls after 9 p.m. So everybody don't get the text, change starts tomorrow. You know how you go to a store and then they put the sign up on the door, effective like 1 June, prices have went up, hours have changed. Um, sometimes people get that, and depending on the people in our lives and their placement, they may get the, hey, this is where I'm going with this. And just for self to know that anytime you choose to change, that it will be a challenge. And we're not even talking about other folks. We're talking about with ourselves, because it takes 21 days to develop and to break a new habit. So it's going to be challenging. So me, as excited as I am about what this next year is going to be, I know it's going to be challenging because number one, I never want to go back to something that I've done before. Um, I feel in life, once I've passed that test, I don't need to go back. I don't even need to teach it. I passed it. I'm good. I just choose to progress in a different way. So it's going to be challenging. Um, Whatever it is, because I'm not even fully aware of like the impact of the change that's going to come. But I do know what I prayed for. So kind of only thing God gave me was like brace yourself for it because it's coming and it's going to be good. But you have to make room. So my change, the change that I'm making right now, I'm making room. I prayed for God to expand my territory. And he was like, okay, I'm going to expand your territory. I'm going to give you more influence. But you need to clean up, you need to clean up your yard right quick. Because I got some stuff that don't need to be there or stuff that's taking up space and don't need to be where it's at. Um, and it's going to be a learning curve. I know with me, it's going to be a learning curve. So um, I'm ready for it. Everything like newness is the same way as if you got a new car. It drives different than the last one. There's different features. Like you got to test this thing out. It's like a test drive. So I'm not saying that, making a change, you shouldn't make a change. I'm not saying to fear making a change, but I do know that with this change, with this next year, it's going to be a learning curve. I don't know what all is going to entail, but it's going to be a learning curve because guess what? Tomorrow, as of today, I've never lived tomorrow. I never live tomorrow. So heck, I'm getting older. My knees may hurt some more. I don't know. I really don't know. Um, I'm just reading these nice little comments. But absolutely, like I don't know what tomorrow brings because I ain't been there before. But I welcome change because I don't want to be doing the same thing I did last year. Last year was good. Now I'm building on. I'm really, really, really building on. And then ultimately, um, taking the chance with change. The reason I'm okay with it is because what did God say? So in any question I have, I go back to what did God say? So God put it in my heart. He said, I will do it. Matter of fact, he said, I'm not going to bless you until you do it. Because I want to be purposeful with everything he gives me. So that's even my time. I only have 24 hours in a day. I think I told y'all maybe last week or the week before, I did a priority management and time management survey. And according to my inputs, I do 37, I think like 34.72 hours worth of stuff a day in a 24-hour period. Right. So I'm doing a whole lot of stuff. I'm multitasking and that's not what I'm supposed to be doing in this season. Um, so I need to be intentional now in what I do, in what I do. Um, but that's it. So in taking a chance with change, it's always good. Change is always good because it's, when we think of purifying gold, you know, um, every now and then the impurities bubble up to the top. And that's what, when I think of change, that's what I think of. You get the good. So, like some good stuff, a lot of good stuff is about to come out of this next year for me. But there's going to be some other things that this next year is going to bring out of me that maybe was dormant. Maybe that I need to address. I'm not sure, but I'm okay knowing that every day when I get up, that is something new for me, that I'm moving in the direction that I'm supposed to, because it feels changes Tony the Tiger great. I love it. I love it. Change is good. Change is really, really, really good. Um, and I'm just, it's just time. So like I really, you know, that's my motivation piece, because my birthday's tomorrow. And my birthday's tomorrow. And I reflected back at last year. And I had an awesome time. Like I reconnected with some family members. I reconnected with friends. I've healed. Like I've reorganized my house. Um, like work is amazing. Coaching the city has grown exponentially, like in the past year. Like 2021, 2020 was good, but I know that it's going to be better, because number one, God said it's going to be better. I prayed that it would be better, and I still have purpose here on this earth. So God don't let us get up the next day to do absolutely nothing, and to not, bring Him glory. So embrace change. Don't be afraid of change. Oh, and you don't have to wait for your birthday. You don't have to wait for your birthday. I do believe that any day you get up, you can make a change. Heck, you can make a change 3 times in the same day. People might not follow you too much because it seems like you're wishy-washy, but you don't have to wait for New Year's to make a change. If it's not serving you anymore, if you've outgrown it, if it's not your thing, um, you don't have to wait for a holiday. You don't. Just take the just change, because change begins in your heart. Change begins in your heart, before it really before it's accepted into your mind. And then once you accept it into your mind, then you can confidently say it out your mouth, because you already know, with my change, I'm gonna have to say some of that stuff with my chest, for real. Because people don't like change. And in life, there's a lot of people. I used to be people. People are like, oh, we're doing something different. Like, for real, word. Looking down upon change because it wasn't serving me the way I wanted to, but the way I wanted it to serve me. But I didn't think about possibly how it was serving the person that needed the change, right? So that's growth for me. Hell, that's change. Is saying it's not always about me. It's not always about me. So when I just challenge everyone, um, I really challenge everyone that if you need to change, change. And if someone coming to you saying, and they might not even say, hey, I'm about to change. They may say, I need to pivot. I need to do something different. I got to try this out. I need to move some things around. All of that is words for I'm changing. I need to do something different. It's not serving me. Let them do that. Give them grace to change. Give them grace to change, because if you've ever changed, okay, I got one. So how do you know when to sit still and when to change? Oh, good one. Um, if you're emotional about it, you need to sit still. And when it's time, because when it's time to change, it'll be a peace that comes with it. It'll really be, like it will be time. So it won't be the anxiety of ruffling feathers, or ooh, they ain't gonna like this, or um, but when it's time to change, you'll have peace with it. When it sit still, sat down, as you would say, when you need to be humble a little bit longer, um, because you'll have anxiety that's attached to it. You'll have like fear. You'll be focused on repercussion. You'll be focused on retaliation. It'll be all this negative connotation, all this background chatter. Um, it'll be all this background chatter that isn't serving you, because change, change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. And if you like seek God with your change, and you're clear on why you're changing, um, if you're clear on why you're changing, then you'll have a peace with it. So even with the clarity, know your why. Why are you changing? Like when? Because sometimes, you may need to wait a month. God to say, hey, this is where I'm moving you. This is what I want you to do. But wait, you need to know who it will affect, your changes. Um, and you need to know what changes you're making, because you just can't say, I'm changing everything. That's emotional. Um, when you're thinking of a shift and you're no longer stressed about it, change. Yep. Let me put that up there. So, yeah, you'll have a peace with it. You really will have a peace with it. And so that's how because I'm at peace. I started anticipating this like maybe like 2 weeks before my birthday, because I already know, God has year after year. Nancy, you ain't doing what you did last year. So my question is, my prayer is, but what will you have me do? Because long time ago I took the I out of it. I mean, they still pop up every now and then. Now my flesh, I'm still human. My flesh do pop up, but um, my question was, well, what will you have me do? Not what do I want to do, or what do I want to change? Um, and then God gives me my answer. So thank you all for this Monday motivation. And like I said, they're all not about to be rah rah. Oh my God, you could do it. Put your cape on. Break the ceiling today. But I just want to motivate you to change, like to be the change that you want. You can't say you want peace and you a hellraiser. You got to be the change that you want. And and now this evolution is something greater and better, greater and better for me. So that's it. You guys know how to get in touch with me. I'm going to start back with my Wednesday wind down. I said that last week, but I didn't schedule it. I'm in a woman's focused study. Um, Jen said another thing. How do you learn to adapt to unexpected changes that happen to you? Prayer. Prayer. I was sharing last week with a friend. They're like, well, how do you adjust? I pray. Like, so if someone told me something, however I feel, in the back, I have a Joyce Myers Bible. It's green. I flip to the back. It'll say like anxiety, however I'm feeling about it. Um, I just pray. I just pray. I just pray. I just pray. Dre said, ask God for guidance. He won't put more on you than you can bear. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I learned last year. that one of the reverends in our marriage ministry, they were asking, well, how do you deal with and like a situation? And she said, I know that if it came to me, God has already co-signed it. So if it's coming to me, God already said Nancy can handle it. He already knows that. Well, I already know because his words say that, all things work out for my good. And even if I'm in my feelings and I feel that a weapon is being formed against me, he does also in the end say, hey, it may form, but it won't prosper, right? So you still have to, when challenging times come, or that shift get a little shifty, still pray, because that doesn't, just because something bubbles up, that don't mean that you're not supposed to experience it, because we got to experience it to get it out of us. And you don't want it to show up years later or show up in another scenario. So all changes and challenges I welcome, because I know it's going to make me a much better person. So, all right, you guys have an awesome Monday evening. I am signing off for the next couple of days because tomorrow's my birthday. Um, and I'm going to start celebrating the night. I think the kids and the family got something going on. So I am cutting off so that I can be present and spend time with those that really, really want to spend it with me. So good night, you guys. Love you too, Jen. All right, bye.